Feature Friday.
The freshest.
I have something quite cool to show Waluchita.
Hello.
This is part of a competition, and it's a choir competition.
Okay.
Where it's all Europe takes part on this, and also it actually took part in Southeast Asia.
I was gonna say, where was the where?
Because
where
the
we watching
competition's
this?
location was there.
Okay.
But the interesting bit is that it is Sweden's like contestants, and they are singing a Filipino folk song
Okay, I see the twist now. Okay.
called Leron Leron Cinta. And
Ah.
that's a very big sort of Tagalog folk song. It used to be sung, because a lot of you guys have sent me messages about this and emails, and also it has a lovely description here, so I'd encourage everyone to sort of go read the description. But it is like a song, so it's sort of similar how in Venezuela and in South America you have songs that get made by workers that do a lot of the labor,
Yes,
farmers.
yes. Like how blues was born.
Exactly. Well, same in the US, right? So one of the reasons, and I wanted to show you guys this because I've seen other people sort of bring attention to this video, but the interesting bit that I think most people are missing is this isn't the first time this has happened. This has happened quite a few times, and the reason is because Filipino folk songs and just Filipino folklore in general, in terms to do with music, even poetry, literature, and obviously music.
And even their own myth and legends are pretty cool.
Yeah, it's very attractive to like ears and eyes of different parts of the world because it's very different. The only place where you see sort of familiarities with it, hence why I presume we've become so sort of attached to it, is in South America.
Yes.
The folklore is quite similar in that sense. Of course, different stories, different takes. But again, Tagalog is a very advantageous language. It's a very advantageous sort of phonetically made language for music and art and expression, so it doesn't surprise me that choirs specifically would sort of do this. I haven't seen this, but I wanted to show it to Ballet to sort of get her feedback on it, but apparently it's very, very good.
Okay. Ooh.
I mean, this is a mind trip, isn't it? See? God damn. The Baltic Sea choir competition is what it's called.
My God, this is crazy.
Oh, fair play to them for learning this.
Somebody has to comment how the diction is actually coming through. Somebody who actually speaks Tagalog.
I'd love to know the Madrigal singer's director. What's his name? I would love to hear his feedback on this.
Yeah,
You
good
know?
point. Honestly,
I want to have him on the podcast so bad.
me too.
We're back to doing interviews, guys. Yes, from all over the world.
I just have to say the overlayer work here is literally so
It's a joke.
beautiful, and it's hard. It's hard because it's cross phrasing, and I know I make a lot of comments about that in other songs and in other things that we check out, but I personally think that one of the hardest things to keep up with in time with the song, it's the cross phrasing. The cross phrasing is actually one of the hardest things because you're keeping a different rhythm and it gives the illusion of a polyrhythm.
Polyrhythm, yeah.
So you are working with several different sounds and rhythmical patterns, and it really messes up with
It's
your
awesome.
brain. Yeah,
It's really good.
this
But
is
that,
really good.
but you know when we talk and I rant about like Disney and like why
Yeah.
why they haven't done like a Filipino cast and why they haven't done like folklore. They're obviously trying to render new stories and just sort of copy or remake old ones in their own way now apparently. But yeah, But like, look, that doesn't that sound like a Disney musical right there?
It
Like
does.
that has so much potential, man.
It really does.
I really wish I had all the resources in the world. I would have made a movie about this.
It's gorgeous. It's really beautiful.
See, because great art makes everyone win.
Correct.
Everybody wins.
See, this is the beauty of a good harana. Imagine you're just standing in your window and then a bunch of people come in to sing this to you. You die.
Well, I'd be confused as balls if a bunch of like Swedish
Oh,
looking
no,
people are
definitely
singing
no.
Leron sing that to me outside my window. I'd be like, what the? I'm
What?
definitely on acid.
No, I'm going to heaven. This is good news. You're going to heaven. That's so cool. The cameraman really likes that guy.
But this geezer.
Yeah, the guy with the ponytail. Ooh. Shout out to the Sopranos.
I'm actually pissed. They know more Tagalog than I do.
Yeah, same. Whoa. How cool! They're not finished. Okay, sorry.
Hell no.
They are. They're finished. Why didn't they?
Puntatat.
Wowza, bro.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
it was hosted. To read a little bit of the description, it basically said that it's a popular Filipino folk song in the Tagalog region. It's traditionally a work song, like we mentioned before. And I guess the interesting bit of these songs, like folk songs, same as how it was back home. The reason, my presumption of why they had so many sort of illusions of polyrhythms and cross phrasings was because you're working on in the outdoors for so long, and there's a ton of animals, there's a ton of sounds of nature, a ton of birds, and everything is colliding in this wonderful thing called nature. And it's sort of like speaking to each other, and they genuinely, all of those elements communicate. If you've ever been away from the city and maybe you grew up in a small province or in a country where there's a ton of like greenery, you would know this. It's same if you're in the beach, away from everyone, like in a small island. You can notice these things and how these elements communicate with each other, how the biomes and the different animals and the fauna and the flora, they all sort of seem to be in symbiosis with everyone. And there's so much sound.
Yes.
And I think that's why a lot of, folk songs from all over the world do tend to have this sort of reoccurrent phenomena where it feels like everything's a polyrhythm and it has that cross-phrasing effect.
Well, yes, I think for sure the composition of the song and how it's done for this competition, it's one of the brilliant elements of trying to bring life to something that originated in the outdoors. And I think if you go back in music history, just surface level kind of knowledge, you discover an understanding of how we translated nature into something tangible, something that contains a pattern, and that's music, right? So but it all comes from the nature. So, and we are naturally inclined to making noise. So these are one of those moments where in history we just become so aligned with our environment that we create beautiful melody like this, and it's just fantastic.
The choir is called Hägersten,
Oh,
and they're actually like a Swedish church. That's what they sing. That's what they sing. They sing like at church.
oh, cool.
And yeah, they're like a very big deal. They've won a ton of stuff. But look, this is the funny thing.
It's a small choir in comparison.
40,
you know?
40
Yes.
members. This is another funny bit, right? This
Smaller.
choir from USC,
Okay.
they were singing Saugoi Nang Duyan.
Duyan.
So this happens often because, again, there's a ton of music,
Good song choices, I must say.
especially from the Philippines, that sort of allows for these types of arrangements. Damn, nice piano. That piano's worth more than me.
You and I combined, brother. Those tenors and basses. Oh, so beautiful.
Gorgeous, dude. What the? And this happens often. These types of compositions are, I see them so often be done in choirs. Of course, you also have like in the Philippines itself, it's a very big scene, like the choir scene. They obviously have some of the best choirs in the world, ironically enough as well. But it happens a ton.
There's no irony in that. Absolutely zero irony in that.
So this is USC, sorry, at the Newman Recital Hall. Then you have like New Zealand.
What the hell? This is like
This happens all the time.
What? Are they high school students?
Yeah, grammar school, mate.
What?
This is the finals, by the way, national finals.
Go Altos. Do your thing, girls. What the hell? These are children. Children.
See the cross phrasing again. Good anchor. Engagement, dude. Oh, hey, yo. Say it again, the prevalence of.
What? Nice.
Well done.
I love a good clash.
Dude, but yeah, this is a very frequent.
Shout out to the soloist. My girl was up there with the gods.
Yeah, it's really impressive how and it is. At the beginning, it's curious, right? It's like why is this happening?
Yes.
But then the more you learn about sort of Filipino folk, the more you learn about the Filipino music industry in its current state, in its previous state, in the last 50 years, and then the more you learn of like choir arrangements and what like core pure musicians and composers really enjoy music wise, then it starts to become less and less curious and more obvious as to why they always end up doing arrangements of folk songs or reprise versions of really old haranas.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
for example, Waleska found this clip on
Oh, yeah.
you guys kept tagging her on it, which is so similar to how it is like in Mexico, in Colombia, especially Mexico, I'd say, of like the original Harana singers, which is
The
basically
serenading.
yeah,
Yeah,
the Riz before the Riz, basically.
Yeah, basically.
The charisma before the charisma was made. And it literally looks, to a certain extent, like how it looked in colonial times.
You did.
For where we're from in Venezuela. So music has always been such a big part of, especially in the Philippines. In South America, it's very peculiar because obviously South America is a whole continent. So there's a lot of different cultures within South America. But as an overall sort of like a summary, we ended up in the conclusion of dance more than it is through voice.
Yes.
It's still obviously prevalent. Same in the Philippines. Dance is still a very big deal. And it's no wonder that some of the best dancers come from the Philippines as well. In most of the, think of any act you like that has dancing, K-pop, P-pop, J-pop, pop from the US, pop from the UK. There's probably a Filipino choreographer involved somewhere along the way.
There's just no room for doubt.
And there's probably some Latino dancers in the bloody mix as well.
Yeah.
So it's very intriguing. I don't know why I always find it so weirdly similar, our cultures. I guess it's obviously the Spanish.
Yeah, the colonization that definitely has a huge role to play. And there's when you get to see how they worked. And it didn't matter where they landed. They had a system, right?
Yeah. Well, I hope, yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah, they had a system, and it's ingrained in us now.
yeah, well, I hope at least you learned something new and you
That
enjoyed.
was actually really crazy. I didn't know that this was a thing, and I am actually really happy because I've always said how much melody there is.
I had 3 more videos as well.
What?
I just
There's
thought for
3
the
more?
I just thought for the sake of because this could be like a podcast essentially
Oh,
idea. But let us know what you guys thought about it and what else should we check out next.
International power.